Okay, our public workshop tonight is bike sharing. Manning Yu, General Manager of Blue Go-Go. It's all yours.
It's a pleasure to kind of meet everyone. Thank you for your time. I know it's kind of end of the business day, so try to make it as informative as possible.
You do have to speak into that mic.
Oh. It's a pleasure to meet everyone. Thank you for your time. My name is Manning. I'm from Blue Go-Go. We're a bike sharing company originated from China. And with our expansion, we're looking to be able to implement a bike sharing program here in the United States as a part of the needs of different cities here in the States as well, from a congestion standpoint, being able to be more eco-friendly, and really trying to figure out with everyone in here how bike share can really fit into the infrastructure and improve congestion and also air quality as well. So, FYI, in 2015, on average, 8 hours a day and over $120 billion was wasted in congestion. And that's one thing that I think with the current transportation mix in a lot of different cities, the ratio's at a point where we can't really necessarily figure out if we're able to solve congestion. We have Uber, we have Lyft, but in a lot of places such as San Francisco and even New York City, they actually double park a lot. So I don't know if it actually alleviates congestion. However, with the increased building of bike lanes, we are starting to see more and more individuals being able to take to the bike lanes and really take advantage of these improved infrastructure. So typically, how do people get around? About 29% of Americans commute within 5 miles one way, but the challenge is if everyone's commuting with the same type of vehicle, you kind of end up creating more bottlenecks and seamless transportation methods. So with more and more people being able to move into not only smaller cities, from smaller cities being bigger cities, we're having more and more people live near city centers. And I think that's one of the challenges that Blue Go was trying to solve, is how to implement a bike sharing program within people within a 5-mile radius of commuting to work. And give me a second, I'll show you the bike really quick. So the bike has 3 speeds on it, so you can definitely be able to get some incline. And it has a traditional turnout here to be able to adjust the 3 speeds up and down on the right-hand side. And here's a unique twin solid tires that we have. These are actually airless tires, so it's difficult to puncture these. They're made from synthesized rubber, and we haven't had any issues with cases of tires popping at all. We have an adjustable seat here that's actually impossible to remove, so don't worry about someone stealing the seat. But you definitely go up and down. Excuse me, for the sake of our recording, of course, thank you. No problem. So with the adjustable seat and also the 3-speed gear and also the punctureless tires, we're able to kind of have a bicycle that's kind of what you can see in the store in terms of all the features that we have. And of course, kind of like the most interesting part about this bicycle is a GPS integrated smart lock. So it's powered by a SIM card. And the reason why it's powered by a SIM card is we're able to lock and unlock it with the power of our mobile phones. And I'll give you a demonstration now. It's actually unlocked because I had to wheel it in, but I'll show you right now. So there's a lever here that you'd lock typically after you end your ride. Once you hear that sound, it locks immediately. And right here it says 99 cents every 30 minutes, so I got to pay that right now before I can't ride this again. All right, so now my ride's completed. So now I need to get to a new ride. I arrived at my destination, I spent X amount of time there, now I need to go. So I click the unlock button right here, and I scan the QR code. There you go. The bicycle's unlocked now. And then you can ride it and rinse and repeat once you get to your destination. The bicycle meets our ISO standard 4210, which is the international industrial standard for safety requirements for any bicycle that's manufactured. And how it works, I just demonstrated for you. Simply find the closest bike to you on our GPS app. obviously reserve the bike. You can reserve it for up to 15 minutes. We're still trying to modify the increment based on density, which we can change at any given time. Sometimes people need it to reserve it for a longer time. Some areas don't necessarily need that. And obviously, being able to unlock it via the QR code. And once you get to a location where you want to stop, definitely put it in a legal area. You don't want to put it in the middle of the street or anything of that sort. And once you get to a legal area to park the bicycle, you can push the pedal down over here, and you're able to lock it immediately. And quick thing I wanted to tell everyone is, how is this powered? So it's actually powered by a solar panel that we built into the basket here that powers the GPS smart lock. And we can actually track on our back-end system the percentage of the battery on each GPS smart lock. So why Blue Go-Go? We all know city parking and traffic can be a nightmare. Our dockless bike shares gives people a more convenient way to be able to travel throughout the city. We also promote a sense of community in terms of being able to have unique solutions for different businesses or institutions or schools to create kind of a unique model or ecosystem in each kind of pocket of a city that kind of needs it for something different. Integrating Blue Go-Go into our city, into Bakersfield, I think, could definitely improve not only air quality, but lessen congestion, but more importantly, promote an active kind of lifestyle for people to be able to ride around the city for short distances, short trips, commute to work, or even like run a few errands as well. And yes, I think we do have competitors. Some of the competitors that we've definitely encountered are docked-based systems. So Zaxter's one of them, Social Bicycles, Motivate. All of these are dock-based systems in which you spend X amount of capital dollars, from what I've seen, maybe 20 to 30 grand on stations, and you have to have the right permits and also a lot of time to be able to scale this up or down. With our bicycle, we don't really need a station, and we can actually monitor the usage of it in terms of where it's being placed. If it's in an area that's in really high demand, we can always scale up and add more bicycles. If it's in an area where maybe there aren't so many people living there, or maybe people just don't necessarily need it, we can remove these bikes off the road, and we can definitely be able to scale up and scale down really, really quickly. And I think that's one thing where we don't necessarily need to overspend. Sometimes tax dollars that we can't necessarily get back. So if, let's say, for example, we have a dock station somewhere at an intersection. Maybe a transit line changes. Maybe a store opens, a store closes down there. So now you have less density, but you have this station there with all these bicycles there. And now you have to maybe remove that or leave it there for maybe it to be disassembled at a further date. So it's difficult to be scaled with the traditional bike share system here in the States, which is docked. And with ours, we're able to kind of scale up and scale down at a lot more flexible speed. And yeah, nothing holds anybody back. Just ride the bicycle. Thank you. Yes, definitely available for questions.
Yes, sir. I would like to ask you, for safety reasons, anyone that's wanting to use this, if they're used to wearing a helmet, they'd have to bring it with them, I guess, for that, correct? Yeah.
No,
Not for adults.
Just for kids up to a certain age, but,
So yeah, you actually do
16.
need to be 18.
Yeah.
It's in our terms of use to be able to use the application.
okay.
And yes, we obviously encourage people to wear helmets. It's very, very important and very, very safe. But the challenge with being able to provide helmets is something we're kind of researching on our back end right now. We're looking into possibly working with different partners and more innovative methods to have, let's say, even disposable helmets to a certain extent. And we're definitely looking at safety, maximum safety as one of our biggest concerns. But as of right now, we definitely prefer people to wear helmets, and yes, people will have to either use their own or borrow one.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So what does it cost?
99 cents for every 30 minutes.
Please go to the microphone.
He's got the microphone.
Nick Fiddler, City of Bakersfield. How does Blue Go-Go ensure that the user is parking the bike in an appropriate area?
So with the new update of our app, we actually work with the city and mark down locations where people should park their bicycles. And we also have a user score in which we monitor individuals who are being reported in terms of not being able to park the bike correctly. And we also penalize them in terms of letting them, I guess you could say from a score standpoint, understand that you can't park your bicycle this way, and also being able to deploy, if we work with the city and work with the Department of Public Works, individual who can work with the operations team and be able to come and retrieve the bicycle. If it's really in a position where it's impossible to be like removed immediately, we could send someone out there.
Manny, can you just leave the mic there and sit here and answer the question? Sure. Thank you.
How about after the next question?
If you come to the podium, the cameras can see you.
Got it. Scott Hurlbert, City of Shafter. So in a metro area, I can see how it would be pretty convenient. There's likely going to be a bike within a block or two. On a model where you're using it for commuting as one of your pitches, so what do you envision happens when the person rides the bike from their office downtown to their home out in a neighborhood? They just park it in front of their house overnight, and then that bike is out of luck, or they don't have a way to get back to work in the morning.
The way we see it is we have, I'm sorry. We have a back-end management system that we use to monitor rebalancing of the bicycles, and we typically have an active team in place to be able to monitor the flow of traffic in terms of where the bicycles are and the supply of it. So we do have standards in which we work with individual cities to be able to establish a rebalancing parameter and rebalancing regulation to make sure there's always a constant supply that meets the demand.
Well, I'm not worried about supply. I'm worried about the bike I rode home from work not being there for me to ride back to work in the morning.
So, for example, if with the app, you're able to track the GPS of the closest bicycle to you. So if, for example, let's say you're within a quarter-mile radius, and we have X amount of bicycles within that area. For example, you may not use the exact same bicycle that you took home, but you'll be able to pick up another bicycle based on the GPS app and the location of the next bicycle closest to you.
Okay.
It doesn't make sense.
So, Madam Chair, may I ask a question? So, what is the cost to a city or a municipality to have you come in?
The cost is $0.
Can I ask some questions? Yes. Thank you. Where are you now in the United States?
We're currently working with different cities. We were in San Francisco for a little bit with the different regulations that San Francisco required from us in terms of establishing a new bike share permit after we had arrived. We're working with the city right now to align with the specific needs of San Francisco. But with San Francisco, we're also talking to different universities as well.
So you're not in any cities right now?
We typically are not live in any cities right now in America.
So you maintain the bicycles
Yes, we maintain the bicycle.
and you rebalance them
Yes.
daily?
As on an as-needed basis. For example, if a bicycle's sitting there for X amount of time, it may not need to be rebalanced immediately. But
So-
we have the power to be able to monitor that on our back-end system, though.
So do you contract out the maintenance, or do you have employees that end up living in Bakersfield, or?
With different cities, some cities that are large enough, we may need a full-time workforce. But with the city of Bakersfield, I'm more than happy to work with your Department of Employment to be able to bring some local individuals on board to help us out.
How many bikes would you put in metropolitan Bakersfield?
I would say it's more important for us to definitely be able to almost beta test initial phase with the city of Bakersfield. I would definitely envision 100 bikes in downtown and establishing different points where we can rebalance the bicycles and then be able to scale them up as the demand increases. But we're also new to Bakersfield as well, so we're definitely here to work with the Department of Public Works or Transportation to really establish a really round and solid number that we both can agree with. But for we've been hearing 100 is typically a consistent number from a lot of the organizations we're talking to start with.
How long before you decide whether you're making money or losing money and decide to leave?
I don't think we'll decide to leave based on profit. We wanted to be able to decide if the rides per bike increase. That's our really barometer to be able to establish how useful the bicycle is. So we're more solutions based. If it's working and maybe we're not necessarily making a profit, I'm okay with that. We're okay with that. The goal is to establish a good bike share system for the city of Bakersfield and Kern County in general.
Are you looking at electric bikes in the future?
For areas with kind of steeper topography, we are considering electric bikes down the road, but that isn't necessarily something we are looking at immediately. But that's definitely on our roadmap.
You are operating in China?
Yes,
don't
we
think I'd
have
do it.
470,000 of
Standing up in a car.
these similar bicycles in 7 different cities in China right now.
And there you maintain them and do
Yes.
the rebalancing and all
Yes,
that?
we maintain them with rebalancing, and we also work with individual users to really guide the narrative in terms of how people are able to lead them in specific areas. Some people even we have in China we have different events in terms of communicating with the user, saying, "Hey, if you're really open to helping us rebalance, we'd definitely give you like a free membership or some sort." So we try to get involved with not just the city and municipalities, but the people as well in terms of rebalancing the bicycles. Mainly because there's only so much, right, an organization can do in terms of monitoring the bicycles all the time. But if we can encourage users to be able to kind of use it as much as possible, make sure that they're also involved in rebalancing, that would be great as well.
So are you close with any other cities, or just San Francisco is the only one you really?
I can't necessarily reveal how close we are, but I've definitely been around pleasure of people such as yourself in other cities, kind of like in a similar presentation. at this
Mostly
point.
California, or are you?
California, we've had definitely a big interest in the East Coast as well, and up in the north, kind of Midwest area, because I mean, some of you may or may not know Minnesota is one of the most bike-friendly like cities in states in the world, especially Minneapolis. So we've definitely gauged interest with different, I guess you could say, individuals within from private side and public side.
Now they already have a bike share, so that's one of the problems in San Francisco. Is it existing bike share systems in competition? Or?
I think competition is definitely one of the existing challenges, but if you actually look at the deployment map of Bay Area Bike Share, which is in San Francisco, a lot of it's focused in the northeast side, which I would say downtown and the financial district Soma area, which from a surface level standpoint doesn't really, I guess you could say, encourage social equity. And I think one of the missing areas in San Francisco is being able to have a bike system program that expands to all the districts outside of just downtown and financial district and Soma area.
So in China, I mean, it's just what we're used to seeing. What I'm used to seeing is the docks, and so to have a system where the bike can be taken home and put in my garage, and then you've essentially given me a bike and I ride it tomorrow. I mean, how do you get around that in your experience?
From my experience, I think we want to aim for the individuals who are trying to commute to, let's say, 3 or maybe 2 miles or less in terms of radius. If they need to run an errand from a workplace, to get back from a workplace, for example, if someone maybe lives within that amount of distance to work, or maybe someone who doesn't necessarily want to drive all the way to downtown and try to find parking. They can essentially be on the kind of the borderline of the radius where you can just pick a bicycle and ride to work.
Okay, that's all I have. for now.
Thank you. Thank you.
I have a question. If you can let him go and then I'll.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Dennis Fox, and first thing I was going to bring up is that a couple of the downtowns in California got a hold of stolen bikes, and they painted them outlandish colors. And you went and you just picked them up and went shopping with the things and then left it. But they had assumed you wouldn't take it out of downtown. Unfortunately, they tried it in Fresno, and they'd all disappeared within a week. That's Fresno. And the other thing I was just wondering is they have no crossbar on them, any of them, which I see as a positive. Saves you when you make the sudden stops, you don't change from baritone to soprano. That's why I was going to ask if they all had the crossbar.
Hi, I'm Mary Helen Barrow, and I live at 201 Jefferson Street in Bakersfield, and I'm a bike rider. And I came tonight because I was very interested in the project, but I have a couple of questions. Where are the bicycles manufactured?
The bicycles are manufactured in a factory in Shenzhen, China.
Is there any possibility that in the future they might be able to be manufactured in the United States?
We're looking at all options. As you know, import fees aren't cheap.
I know that, but I'm big on Buy America, Employ America. And-
That's something that we emphasize tremendously as well.
Yeah, and so if Bakersfield or Kern County were to consider, or any of the cities in Kern County, I would like to know what the expectations would be to manufacture the bicycles, at least in the continental United States, and what employment there would be locally for us before any final decision would be made. And I love the concept of the bike sharing, but I am also equally interested in local employment and manufacturing, if not locally, but at least in the U.S.
We're looking at manufacturing and assembly as potential kind of operations costs that we can definitely move over to the United States. I think it depends on other factors in terms of how we're able to source the parts or the labor and be able to maybe not manufacture it, but at least assembly maybe. But that really depends on being able to work with the different, I guess you could say, existing manufacturers here and really trying to find a good price point to be able to accomplish that. And unfortunately, I can't make that decision on my own. So I'd be able to take this kind of, I guess you could say, request to my constituents and be able to discuss with them as well. But from an operational ground level, we'd be more than happy to work with kind of from a rebalancing standpoint and a maintenance standpoint, work with local municipalities.
Now, if a contract was entered into, let's just use Bakersfield City as an example. You put 100 bikes in Bakersfield Central area. What would it cost the city, or do you just get your money from the rides? I mean, there's got to me. It doesn't balance out to me. I'm a businesswoman, and I'm looking at what's the overhead and how does that get covered to a city like Bakersfield, or Shafter, or Wasco, or
The overhead is covered by Blue Go-Go. We make the revenue directly from the individuals who use the bicycle.
And that's all your income comes from the ridership?
As of right now, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Cindy Parra?
So it's basically app-based driven, so it's tied to a credit card or a bank card. So how do you get around it? In our underserved areas, there, some people that don't have a bank card or don't have a credit card. Is there some other kind of, or it's not everybody, I'm sure, but there's still some people that have the old flip phone, so they don't have a smartphone. How do you get past to not being able to serve that portion of the community?
Right now, it's a little bit challenging to be able to accept different methods of payment just because the majority of our users, probably something close to 95 to 98% use a debit and credit card. Though we also understand that's an important part to be able to have a bike share that's easily accessible from a payment standpoint from everyone. So we're open to ideas and suggestions. Maybe we can work through a business. For example, maybe someone can go into a business and be able to pay for the bicycle in cash or whatnot, and then we facilitate that transaction on the back end with maybe a storefront or whatnot. But we'd be open to definitely trying to figure that out. But as of right now, we don't have a specifically solid solution for the specific challenge you're talking about.
Well, kind of, maybe you're looking for suggestions on that. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with the Clipper card. And
yes, very familiar.
Something kind of like a tap and go where if you don't have access to credit or debit cards, but you have a Clipper card, and where you pay a monthly fee for it, or I don't know, that's an idea. You load up the card and then just tap and go, and something similar to that. That's one idea.
Yes, that's actually something we discussed in terms of being able to integrate with a payment system that already exists from a public transit standpoint. we've had our challenges with SFMTA, so we haven't really been able to discuss with them directly in terms of being able to put this as a payment option, but that's something we're definitely looking at.
Okay, cool. And then I have more of a technical question. I have a Chevy Spark that at work, I charge it at work, but anytime it's cloudy, because they're solar powered chargers, and you mentioned that the solar panels on the bike itself, does it charge on cloudy days as well?
It charges on cloudy days as well.
Wow, that's good. Okay.
I have one question. When you come to a city, any city, you want a franchise for that town, so you're exclusive for that type of program you're offering, or it makes no difference, you're exclusive and you have other competition?
I think we always want to encourage competition. We aren't necessarily afraid of competition. I think the bicycle that is the best product typically wins. So we don't want to necessarily lock in any municipality into sort of exclusivity. I also think that could potentially have a lot of issues from a public perception standpoint as well to implement something like that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks everyone.
Awesome.
Yes, you noticed that, huh?
For me, I'm interested.
We're gonna take 5 minutes before our next meeting.
Yeah, I was at a meeting before I came in here, and it was cool. We just keep going on. That's all you
All
can
right,
do.
let's call this meeting to order. Please stand for the flag salute.
Just like to keep them banned.
Yeah. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call.
Present.
I am here.
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 Yes.
Here.
Yeah, here.
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 Before we go any farther, please turn your mics on when you speak, and please turn them off when you're not speaking. Okay? We're having problems with technical problems. Item number 3, public comments. This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons to address the committee on any matter not on this agenda, but under the jurisdiction of the committee. Committee members may respond briefly to statements made or questions posed. They may ask a question for clarification, make a referral to staff for factual information, or request staff to report back to the committee at a later meeting. Speakers are limited to 2 minutes, with the authority of the chair to extend the time limit as deemed appropriate for conducting the meeting. Please state your name and address for the record prior to making a presentation. Do we have anybody? Yes.
How do you do, Mr. Chairman, members of the COG? I am Dennis Fox, 918 Blossom 93306. And I'll talk to you about funding for roads. 2 of them. One is a federal source, and that is because of the drought, there's a lot of dead trees. And rather than burn them up, and the smoke cuts to everybody, including me, there is objections, NIMBY, to cutting them and selling the timber. But a little bit of the timber sale goes to roads, and it's a federal program. So you have that option. The other one is the state. And tomorrow at 4 to 5:30 over at the Marriott, State Senator Beal will be there. And he is author of Senate Bill number 1, which is for, and he's also chair of the Transportation and Housing. And it sounds like it might be a person to talk to. and rather than whine afterwards. So I'd appreciate I let you in on those two sources to be considered. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else have any public comments?
Good evening, Sal Moretti, City of Bakersfield Superintendent. I'm wearing my colors today, and I hope to see all of you wearing your colors on Saturday for the Great American Cleanup. We'll have over 2,000 volunteers. We'll have over 80 groups, about 75 hot spots. Look forward to seeing you all here. Also wanted to come out just to thank you again for the funding that you provide for the litter programs. I was asked to come out and give a quick update on the numbers, and I think you might have got that. I understand they're on the website, but just to review, the KernCOG funds go to the city through, and then we disperse those to the homeless center. KernCOG funds are paying for the ramp cleanup crew, and that ramp cleanup crew does about 600 bags a month, more than 600 bags a month, and does about over 120 ramps a month. They do a great job, and they've been out there. They know their area very well, so you'll see them out there. They don't require the attenuator, so it really is a perfect fit using the KernCOG funds for the ramp crew, because there's no Caltrans crews that's required to be with them. It works perfectly. Thank you for your support on that. And as a reminder, the last time I was here, there was some question about in case there's any additional funds. There are new ramps. There is higher minimum wage that we'd love to be able to support with those funds. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Dixie Walters, Kern County Sheriff's Office, and I'm at Lerdo, that's my address, and I'm wearing my colors too. I will be out there on Saturday as well with our Caltrans crew and representing. So I just wanted to give you guys some updates on our stats on the things that we've been doing. We are in our fourth quarter with KernCOG. Since July of 2016, we've had over 106 job sites with, we've covered about 260 miles of Kern County roads with the crew that is funded by KernCOG. We have about 5,000 man hours of labor put in since that time. That includes the deputy and the inmates that go out and help clean up. And we have targeted Bakersfield, Delano, McFarland, and Shafter over the last couple of months. So just some little updates. And again, we wanted to also thank you for recognizing us at the awards banquet. We really appreciate it. Thank you. Any questions? No? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, may I say something?
Yes, sir.
Mayor Prout last month asked that we have a little bit more information about what the funds are being used for with respect to the debris removal. We have created a spot on our website, and we are tracking both the City of Bakersfield contract and the County of Kern's contract, so you'll see monthly updates there that will include number of bags of trash that were picked up, exact locations, and I believe we sent out that link to everyone. If you want help on seeing that, it will be updated monthly.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any more public comments? Seeing none, we'll move on. Okay. No.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Zach Crum. I live in Stallion Springs. I run a community group called Stallion Springs Guided Hiking. I'm a volunteer for Tone Ranch, and I'm also about to be a graduate of CSUB with the focus or public policy with the focus in lands management. Just wanted to let you know if anyone needs any help with policy papers. I'm coming up to my master's program, so I'll be here afterwards if anyone wants to hit me up. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda are considered to be routine and non-controversial by KernCOG staff and will be approved by one motion if no member of the committee or public wishes to comment or ask questions. If comment or discussion is desired by anyone, The item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered in the listed sequence with an opportunity for any member of the public to address the committee concerning the item before action is taken. We have items A through Q.
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Patricia Leal. I work with Leadership Council for Justice and Accountability. I would like to request to pull out item I, SB 375 target recommendation.
Okay. Do you want to pull this now and discuss it? Or go ahead and? Okay. Any other requests? Do I have a motion?
Motions to approve A through Q, but not
Aye.
I.
I'll second that.
Roll call vote?
Yes.
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 Aye.
Yes.
Yes.
I know what she's gonna hit on. Okay, item I. This is not. Mr.
Thank you,
Ball.
Chair. Council members, this item is being brought back to you. It was actually originally presented back in January. The numbers that are being proposed for target to the Air Resources Board are unchanged from what we presented back in December and January, but we are being requested to provide a number in time for ARB's consideration. And so this number was previously arranged. We are at the low end of the range. It's 9% per capita CO2 reduction by 2020, 13% per capita CO2 reduction by 2035. I'd be happy to go into the details and the methodology of how we came up with those numbers. And this item is an action item requesting that we go with those numbers as presented in Table 1.
This is the most important part right
And also on the most recent Regional Planning Advisory Committee meeting recommended approval of these numbers unanimously.
Did we answer your question?
Can we please go ahead and in detail in regards to how you got these numbers, 9% and 13%? How exactly are you getting these numbers? And it's still very unclear. And I know I've been at the RPAC meetings and I've been hearing that they think these are ambitious targets, but when you say ambitious, what are you really comparing it to? I know in 2014 you all did this modeling, but as we move forward, I would like to know based on what are you getting these numbers? Because as we move forward to finalized or propose preliminary targets, we're also hoping to work together to put in aggressive targets that will allow us to work together to reduce these vehicle miles traveled, to ensure that projects that we continue to apply for grants, strategize. And I think one way that you are doing it is by having the regional transportation plan mini grant and community events. But I would like for you to go in depth in regards to how these numbers are being selected, and how are you measuring that these are aggressive targets?
Chair, I can respond to that if you like.
Okay, thank you.
And this will be a brief, and I'd be happy to spend some more time after the meeting with you to go over some of these further. The transportation model, the regional transportation model that we use allows us to forecast what the future emissions would be in for greenhouse gas, and then we can come up with the per capita number based upon that transportation model and the assumptions in that modeling that we do. The information that we provided is actually based upon probably close to a dozen model runs, and the range that we have currently on those dozen model runs. This is at the low end of that range, consistent with the recommendation from the RPAC board. And so I'd be happy to go in further on those assumptions at any time with you, Patricia. So.
Okay.
One more comment then. I would also like to request for a roundtable as we move forward with the RTPSES, a social equity roundtable where we can further discuss this and ensure that whatever numbers are being proposed are aggressive enough to ensure that our communities continue to grow.
Okay, Rob, can you handle that?
Certainly, and we'll be happy to coordinate with you on the roundtable that's already been established, which you are a member of, and didn't you participate in that one? But we'd be happy to coordinate with you and invite you to that meeting. Yeah. So.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
So
Chair, I have a quick comment on
yes.
on the targets. Thank you. Just coming from a community that is low income and that really would benefit for a lot of the grants that CARB does provide, and that would be based on the assumptions and the targets made through SB 375 and through the 2018 RTP SCS. I would urge that we do what we can to work with these environmental justice groups and also have as aggressive targets as possible. We're all in the same region, and whether it's East Kern or the Central Valley, we're all breathing the same air, and I just think that we need to do as best as we can to advocate for and set the policy to help reduce the greenhouse gas emissions and do what we can to draw down as much federal and state dollars to improve our communities. So looking forward, and I know this is the beginning process and there's a long ways to go, so looking forward to doing that.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you. Any other comments?
I have a comment. You know,
Orchel?
might be a little politically not correct or anything, but some of the stuff about environmental justice crap and stuff going around and in different communities and stuff, some of this goes overboard. You know, on it. You know, if they are so concerned about our environment and climate and all this other thing, lead by example. You want to ride bicycles? You ride a bicycle first. You want to work in your city? Find a job in your city and stay there. A lot of us commute. A lot of us have operations and businesses and stuff. We one of these days we'll probably be we're the only one left in California because everybody's leaving California right now. Just be prudent and even be objective. What we have to work with. There's a lot of stuff they're trying to impose on us is impossible to achieve. So let's go ahead and use common sense is all I ask about some of these demands that people are demanding on us. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay. Is this a voice vote? It's okay. Do I have a motion?
I so move. Second.
All in favor
Sorry.
say aye.
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 Opposed? Good. Moving right along. Item number 5, board members' meeting reports. I see none. Caltrans report.
Okay, I have 6 projects to give updates on. The first one being the Bakersfield Bridge preventive maintenance. This is on State Route 204, also known as Golden State Avenue, between State Route 99 and State Route 178. Construction on this project is about 95% done. Expected completion is in May of this year, on schedule to be completed. Second project is Cherry Avenue truck climbing lanes. And this is to construct truck climbing lanes and widen shoulders on State Route 119 near Taft from Elk Hills Road to Tupman Road. Construction is about 95%. Still waiting for approval to complete work on the south side. Permit approved, but awaiting for resolution on some issues with California Department of Fish and Wildlife. The third project is the Shafter Wasco ADA ramp project, and that's to construct ADA curb ramps on State Route 43 in Shafter as well as Wasco. Construction has started and is expected to continue through August of this year. Fourth project is the Kern Avenue pedestrian overcrossing. And these are ADA compliance upgrades on State Route 99 in Kern County at the Kern Avenue pedestrian overcrossing. Construction is about 40% complete. Removal of the existing pedestrian overcrossing started, but awaiting for final approval from the railroad to complete demolition of the existing pedestrian overcrossing. Fifth project is the Delana Roundabout at the intersection of State Route 155 and Browning Road. The project was awarded, and the contractor has a 90-day delay start. This is because school's still in session, and they want to wait till the school's done before they start working. Utility companies are out there doing their work in the meantime. Last project to give you guys an update on is the Famoso State Route 4699 bridge. This is a bridge replacement project at the State Route 4699 separation. The bid opening occurred on April 13th. Caltrans is working on awarding the project. Construction is scheduled to start in July. And that concludes my project update.
Any questions for Caltrans? Seeing none, moving right along. Executive Director's Report.
Good evening, Madam Chair and board members. I have 4 quick items for you. I'm sure most of you have heard, but if you have not, someone already mentioned it. Senate Bill 1 passed through the legislature 2 weeks ago tonight. It will increase gas taxes, diesel taxes, and a variety of other fees. All the cities in Kern County and the county will begin seeing that money come in later this year. It goes into effect in November. The California Transportation Commission will be meeting in San Diego on May 17th. I will be attending, as well as members from City of Bakersfield and possibly County of Kern. One of the items that they will be considering is possible additional funding to finish Route 46 widening in the vicinity of Lost Hills. The project is still owed about $22 million. We will do our best to try to get that $22 million. And this is for all the cities and the county. The RSTP and CMAQ call for projects. Applications will go out next week. Those are the funds we receive from the federal government to maintain all of our roads in the region. There's roughly 24 million in RSTP and about 20 million in CMAQ available for this call for projects. I believe it was mentioned by Dennis, but there is a high-speed rail jobs and contracting forum at the Marriott downtown. Senator Bell will be in town. KernCOG will have staff there, as well as County of Kern and City of Bakersfield, and I believe Senator Bell is scheduled to speak about 2 p.m. tomorrow if you're interested. That's all I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Member statements. Any member statements? Seeing none, we'll adjourn this meeting and go into the Kern Council of Governments. The roll call remains the same? Okay. Item number 2, public comments. Do we have any public comments tonight for this agenda? Seeing none. Item number 3, consent agenda. All items of the consent agenda are considered to be routine and non-controversial by KernCOG staff and will be approved by one motion if no member of the council or public wishes to comment or ask questions. If comment or discussion is desired by anyone, the item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered in the listed sequence with an opportunity for any member of the public to address the council concerning the item before the action is taken. We have items A through D.
F.
F.
Yeah.
F.
That's okay, I just saw it.
Mm.
I'd like to pull F. I got a question on F.
You want to pull F?
Yes.
Ruben? Anybody else? Do we have a motion for A through E?
I'll make that motion that we approve A through E.
I'll second.
Roll call vote?
Yes.
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 Aye.
Item F.
Good evening.
I'll just ask the question.
Okay.
The question is on 3. I just want to know why we're not doing a bank reconciliation monthly.
Well, to answer your question, Director Pasquale, we have a cash account that we keep with the County of Kern. We also have a sub-account to that cash account that we use just for payroll purposes. We had not been doing a reconciliation on that, but we have been doing it monthly on the
bank?
the main account. And
Oh.
so this was the one recommendation that Brian Armstrong made for us to start.
Yeah, obviously,
working on.
that's the one thing I found.
Yeah, no, and it's a good question. I mean,
Okay.
we do the main account, we just need to take it a step further and do that sub-account.
Okay.
Councilmember Pasquale, this was initiated by us in response to the
Yeah,
what
I've
was in
seen
the,
that.
in the newspaper, so
Yeah.
it was completely all initiated by us.
I seen that too, it's nice that we did that, because with everything going on with the special districts and everything that's going on right now, but I just had to question that. Thank you.
Do you have a motion?
I move to motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Is this a voice vote?
Is this an information item?
Oh, it's just information item? Moving right along. Item number 4.
Yes, this is the second version of next year's overall work program that you have seen. This proposed version contains 38 work elements, whereas the one we're currently working with has 50. So we're consolidating, trying to streamline. This document is required as part of the federal planning process. Another document that's required is the RTP, the Regional Transportation Plan. Another one is the Regional Transportation Improvement Program. And those 2 documents alone take up about 66% of our resources. We have other programs that we oversee in this document, the Motorist Aid Program, Commute Kern, as well as some support programs. We have received comments from District 6 Caltrans as well as headquarters. We will review those and incorporate them as we can. We are expecting comments as well from Federal Highways and Federal Transit Administration. So once we get those, we will incorporate the ones we can incorporate, and we will bring this back to you in May for approval. Are there any questions?
Any questions for the board? So, you need a motion?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? There you go. Item B.
And this is the dollar part to the overall work program. This is our budget for 17-18. It's a pretty standard budget. The one thing it does not include any federal carryover dollars at this point. We were asked last year to not include those until we firm those up and have them certified by Caltrans. So once we have those numbers included or available to us, we'll amend those in as needed, and we'll bring that back probably October, November. But tonight's action is asking that you set next board meeting date as a date certain for the public hearing for the adoption of the 17-18 KernCOG budget.
Any questions? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
I'll second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item C.
This is the preliminary Kern Motor State Authority budget. As you all know, we we get the revenue from $1 per registered vehicle in the county. We use that to support the call box system, at least for the time being. We also have the 511 traveler information system that we maintain, as well as the litter contracts that you heard through both the city and the county. So as it stands now, we will be supporting the call box system, litter removal, and 511 system. And again, the action is to ask that you set next week as a date certain for the public hearing. Next month. Pardon me.
Okay.
That we hold the public hearing for the final adoption.
All right, thank you. Any questions? Do we have a motion?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item D.
Good evening, Chairperson and board members. KernCOG sent out a request for proposal for financial and compliance audit services directly to 16 audit firms. The RFP was published in the Bakersfield Californian as well as posted on our website. In response, a total of 2 proposals were submitted. A proposal review committee completed evaluation forms related to the proposals. 3 out of the 3 committee members rated Brown Armstrong number 1 based on overall ranking as well as proposal cost. In view of these ratings, the committee recommends awarding the contract to Brown Armstrong Certified Public Accountants. The action requested is to award financial and compliance audit services contract to the firm Brown Armstrong Certified Public Accountants in an amount not to exceed $149,000 and authorize chairs to sign.
Any questions from the board or the public? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
I'll move we approve.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Ms. Van Wells. Item 5, Transportation Authority, none. Kern Motorist Aid Authority. None?
None.
Any meeting reports? Executive Director's Report.
Good evening again, Madam Chairman and board members. Starting earlier today, I think it was at 4 o'clock, we commenced 13 regional transportation plan public workshops. They'll be held throughout the county by 8 different local nonprofits. They'll be held all the way into May, and there may be 3 additional ones. The specific list is in your folders. Beyond that outreach, on April 22nd, we will be at Bakersfield College Garden Fest. On April 22nd, we will also be at the Great America Cleanup that was mentioned by Sal earlier today. April 26th, we'll be at the Kern Green Expo. April 27th to 30th, we'll be at the Arvin Wildflower Festival. April 27th, the State Farm Golf Tournament at Bakersfield Country Club. April 29th, the California City Desert Tortoise Days. April 29th, celebrates CSU Bakersfield, and May 1st to 4th will be at the Advanced Clean Transportation Expo. May is Bike Awareness Month. Some of you may have seen or heard KGET TV public service announcements for Commute Kern's new bike and pedestrian safety video. They started running in mid-April, and they should run through the middle of May. In your folder this evening is a press release for a Caltrans Workers Memorial that will be held tomorrow, honoring the 186 transportation workers who have been killed. That's, if you're interested, that's at 10:30 tomorrow morning in Bakersfield, the corner of Roberts and Olive Drive. I will be attending that. A copy of the bike sharing presentation, a Caltrans planning update for this current quarter, the KernCOG progress report for projects of regional significance, the awardees of the mini grants that I mentioned earlier today, schedule of cash disbursements, timeline for April and May, or outreach efforts, and some highlights from the overall work program that you approved a few minutes ago. Subject to your questions, Madam Chair and board members, that concludes my report.
Any questions for the Executive Director? Seeing none. Any member statements?
I have
Ms. Para?
like the director said, May is Bike Month. Just want to remind everybody that Bike Bakersfield will be doing our full moon ride, and there'll be bike to work stations that we'll have along the Kern River Parkway that will be partnering with Blue Sky Partners and KernCOG and to man some of those stations. We'll also have our Ride of Silence, so expect some emails coming to everybody regarding the events that Bike Bakersfield will be having in May.
Thank you. Ms. Wood.
Madam Chair, thank you. First off, I want to thank our director, Aaron Hakimi, for attending the March 30th State Route 58 feasibility study, where we were able to talk with Caltrans District 9 in some detail about the 140th Street and discuss the 3 different options that that we're looking at right now. We're trying to free up about 12 miles of freeway, make 12 miles back into freeway again by removing at-grade intersections down the highway. And I just wanted to say also thank you to Kern County Planning and Design. They came out for us, about 6 members from Caltrans District 9, of course yourself, and in a report that I received, they're going to start conducting traffic counts and verify the turn movements very shortly, and discuss how we can modify those freeway, the many freeway agreements from 1958 through the latest one is somewhere around the 80s or 90s. To make this happen if it's possible. And then on another note, just a reminder, we're hosting the KCAC dinner in California City Monday, 6 p.m. It's going to be catered by Golden Bamboo, a Thai restaurant in town, and I'll be speaking on the impacts of medical marijuana industry on California City. We just had a meeting Tuesday night with 31 different businesses in this industry. It was opening up the opportunity for the public to have ask them questions, and it was fairly fascinating to me the number of community benefits they want to bring into the community. Everything from drug and rehabilitation treatment for people with, and by the way, we're only doing medical marijuana, but they're talking about drug and rehabilitation, improving our parks, improving recreation in our community, arts, and making significant contributions to our schools and the community in general. So look forward to members of KCAC to come on out, and we'll give you a nice little 20-minute presentation and some great Thai food. Thank you.
Good.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Any other statements?
I have a statement. Out in our area called Carrizo Plains, we're getting a lot of publicity out there from different newspapers and from San Diego and Los Angeles Times and all that. And the last few weeks, all our motels have been booked. All the restaurants are pretty happy, and the antique shops are especially happy. And we had a busload of Chinese people come in, tourists came through there and buying up a lot of stuff from our antique stores, and been a lot of good positive results. I encourage you all to go out there before the blooms die. Take a little tour out there. It's a nice little facility. It's just a big area that's public land to see a lot of nature out there. And hiking and biking and. Bring your pickups out there. I have no problem with that. But anyway, one more comment is I have a present surprise for myself. My mom and my brother, and this kind of surprised me by showing up. My mom, she's right here in the front row. My brother, I'm the oldest of 11, and he's number 3 down the pecking order. So he lives in Los Angeles, has a church there, right there on, pardon? Las Vegas, okay. We're right there in the middle of the sinners there. But anyway, he's got a good occupation there. But anyway, I just like to introduce you to him. And I haven't seen my brother in how many years, but it's pleasant to see him. And I think he's got more gray hairs than I do. But anyway, he works hard. And thank Mom for being here. Thank you.
All right. Any other statements? Jose.
Yes, thank you. As Mr. Akimi mentioned, we do have the Wildflower Festival next week, the 27th through the 30th, and you can make the drive up the foothills and see all the wonderful wildflowers. And as you have read in the newspaper, Arvin has decided to donate land to the Kern Community College District, and we're very excited to be moving forward with that, possibly getting a satellite campus or facility out there in Arvin. And we are very excited that is moving forward. And we are also want to thank Caltrans for The work they're doing with our signal light on the intersection of Derby and 223, we're glad that the timeline has been updated, and we're seeing progress on that as well. And so there's a lot of things happening in the city of Arvin, a lot of good things moving forward, and just excited to be able to share it with you all. Thank you.
Thank you. That's it?
Madam Chair.
Yes, sir.
I'll be on military leave for the next 3 weeks. I will be in the United States and checking email and access to phone.
Okay. Thank you, Aaron. This meeting's adjourned. Thank you, everybody.